The judge in Blake Lively's case just slapped down their psychopathic request.
And the court said no.
Breaking news, Justin Baldoni just got a big win, meaning Blake Lively got a big loss. Are her lawyers dumb? Is this truly a win for Justin and a loss for Blake?
Absolutely a win for Justin, and you're absolutely right, Andy, in your interpretation of the document. What they said is basically, they told you to go, you have to go meet and confer, and to even come up with more narrow requests.
There's a lot of this sort of like Blake complaining that they're evading the privacy, they're doing all this, but then meanwhile, right, she's on Saturday Night Live with Ryan making jokes, hitting back. I mean, is it not a little hypocritical? Is this a bad look of her if she's trying to tell the courts that we should stop talking about this in public?
In a dramatic twist, Hollywood's beloved star, Blake Lively, finds herself at the heart of a legal battle that has sent shockwaves through Tinseltown. With accusations, counter-accusations, and a judge's unexpected ruling, the case has placed the actress in a storm that threatens to tarnish her spotless reputation and disrupt the entire entertainment industry.
Blake's case is falling apart. She's destroying her cred. Ryan Reynolds.
And what about her husband, the ever-charming Ryan Reynolds? He isn't untouched by this drama either. So, how did Blake Lively find herself in this predicament? And what does this shocking ruling mean for her career? Stay with us as we unravel the intricate details of this high-profile lawsuit, where every twist and turn keeps us on the edge of our seats.
I'm not asking anyone to not believe anyone. I am more than willing to take every single text message that exists out there, lay them out, put them on a website for the world to see, have them see the truth and determine the truth for themselves.
It seems Justin Baldoni's lawyer, Brian Fredman, had a point when he insisted that all parties should lay their cards on the table. Reports reveal that the court played leaked audio during its proceedings, an alleged recording that Blake Lively and her husband, Ryan Reynolds, were rumored to have tried to suppress. With the world watching, this latest revelation appears to give Baldoni the upper hand in the case, further fueling public intrigue in this high-stakes legal drama. The court hearing, held on March 4, 2025, saw Lively's legal team, led by Merrill GSKY, request a protective order to prevent the public release of certain evidence, including private communications between Lively and other high-profile Hollywood figures. Her attorneys argued that disclosing these communications could cause unnecessary harm to uninvolved individuals and fuel excessive media speculation. However, the request has ignited a heated debate over privacy versus transparency in high-profile legal battles. Meanwhile, it has also reignited discussions about Blake Lively's alleged bullying personality, adding yet another layer of controversy to an already explosive case.
They didn't record the show.
Speaking of Baldoni, the Hollywood star's legal team firmly opposed the motion filed by Lively's attorneys. Instead, they argued that the existing protective order was sufficient and that no special privileges should be granted based on celebrity status. Baldoni's lawyers maintained that keeping the proceedings open was essential to ensuring fairness and preventing the case from being litigated behind closed doors. After all, his lead attorney has consistently advocated for full transparency, insisting that everything should be laid out in the open.
I see a bully a bully attacking somebody. The bully being Blake Lively and our powerful lawyers. And thank goodness Justin's got support to be able to fight back.
Meanwhile, Judge Lewis Lyman, who presided over the case, had a harsh response for Lively's attorneys that day. If Blake Lively thought she was fully prepared to dismantle Baldoni in court, the judge's reaction must have been a devastating blow to her confidence, and according to reports, it was. Right in the middle of the proceedings, in front of both parties and a courtroom full of onlookers, Lively reportedly had a full-on meltdown. Witnesses described the scene as chaotic, with even her own attorneys appearing visibly embarrassed by her outburst. Lively and her team had entered the courtroom with an air of confidence, seemingly ready to deliver the final blow that would end the case. However, they were met with an equally prepared Judge Lyman, who took one look at their request and delivered a response no one expected. In a shocking turn, the judge openly dismissed their motion, even going so far as to call Lively's legal team's request stupid, stunned that such a demand had even been made in court.
Justin Baldoni has built his brand and is known for supporting women, believing women. So why in this case should people not believe Blake Lively?
I'm not asking anyone to not believe anyone. I am more than willing to take every single text message that exists out there, lay them out, put them on a website for the world to see, have them see the truth and determine the truth for themselves.
However, the humiliation didn't end there, far from it. In a dramatic turn of events, Judge Lyman's decision has ensured that everything is about to become public. The court has scheduled a live audio feed of the hearing for Thursday, March 13, 2025, meaning the entire world will have a front row seat to Blake Lively's legal drama. With the spotlight now brighter than ever, All eyes are on what unfolds next in this explosive case.
Lawyers are stupid. It's like he's like being nice here. He's like, your lawyers are really stupid.
Wouldn't that be something? I mean, I can't wait for Thursday, and I'm sure you feel the same way. This time, Blake Lively and her husband, Ryan Reynolds, won't be able to stage any more PR stunts or childish antics. Whatever happens in court will be broadcast live on the internet. No spin, no manipulation, just raw, unfiltered truth blasting through the courtroom speakers. So far, Lively has acted as if she had the upper hand, demanding all sorts of injunctions and filing what some consider ridiculous court subpoenas. Little did she know, the tables would eventually turn, crashing down on both her and her husband.
Justin Baldoni universe, a judge is allowing the internet to join court. Not entirely for the whole court case, but for this Thursday, we'll be sharing live audio, not video, just audio of what goes down.
Speaking of Ryan Reynolds, just a few weeks ago, he was seen alongside his beloved wife at the SNL 50th anniversary special. It's no surprise that he continues to act as Lively's shadow. After all, they are one of Hollywood's hottest couples. But why does it also seem like Ryan mirrors his wife's questionable behavior? If you don't see what I mean, just watch this.
Who else? Who else has a question?
I have a question.
Oh, hey, Ryan Reynolds.
Hi.
Hey. Ryan Reynolds, how's it going?
Great. Why? What have you heard?
It turns out that Blake Lively isn't the only one allegedly doing everything in her power to frustrate the justice process. Her husband, Ryan Reynolds, is right there with her, following her every move. Apparently, neither of them has considered handling things the right way. Well, since Reynolds has chosen to stand by his wife, hook, line, and sinker, Justin Baldoni has decided to hit back. That's right. Baldoni has now slapped Reynolds with a lawsuit of his own. Get in line, Ryan.
Blake Lively and her actor husband Ryan Reynolds want to keep their messages with seemingly their A-list friends out of the hands of the public.
Justin Baldoni is not paying his legal bills, which are
Lively's complaint details specific demands she made during a meeting with the parties involved, emphasizing the need for a safe and professional working environment. She insisted on no more showing of nude videos or images of women in her presence, no discussions about sexual conquests, no inappropriate mentions of cast and crew members' genitalia, no inquiries about her weight, and no further mention of her late father. However, that wasn't when Lively filed her lawsuit against Baldoni. The legal battle truly began when Baldoni sued the New York Times after it published Lively's complaint.
Actor-director Justin Baldoni is now suing his former co-star Blake Lively and her husband Ryan Reynolds, seeking more than $400 million in damages, accusing them of defamation and extortion.
In response, a representative for Lively claimed that she was being retaliated against for voicing concerns about sexual harassment and other inappropriate behavior on set. Reports indicate that the previously mentioned meeting was held to address these concerns, with Ryan Reynolds also in attendance, along with key cast and crew members. That's when the legal war erupted, pulling in Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively, and, of course, Ryan Reynolds.
There was a feud between the two, and that they positively hated one another because they were promoting this film and these articles started leaking, really initially not in Justin's favor at first, basically saying that he had been inappropriate on TMZ, saying that he asked her about her weight and because he had to lift her for a scene.
From there, the courtroom battle allegedly spiraled into Lively and Reynolds resorting to questionable tactics. Lively began making extreme accusations and demanding all sorts of legal measures, escalating the case far beyond what it initially was.
A couple weeks ago, you guys might remember on New Year's Day, there were two lawsuits that were filed. Blake Lively filed a lawsuit against Justin Baldoni, claiming harassment took place by Baldoni against her on the set of It Ends With Us, and that an orchestrated smear campaign took place behind the scenes with his PR team. And they had these text messages, and then a little bit before that lawsuit was filed, there was this explosive piece in the New York Times with this very dramatic headline from the publicist saying, "We can bury anyone."
Speaking of unreasonable demands, let's talk about just how excessive Lively's legal requests were. Her team demanded an astonishing 2.5 years' worth of Justin Baldoni's and his PR agent's phone records, including text messages, calls, doctor visits, and even GPS tracking of his every move over that period. What was Lively's motive for this? Because, honestly, it seems downright obsessive, borderline stalkerish, if you ask me.
But then suddenly, right before Christmas on December 20th, Blake Lively filed a complaint against Justin Baldoni and others in California, claiming sexual harassment.
Blake went full FBI mode on Baldoni in court, but Judge Lyman wasn't having any of it. Who else demands such intrusive records except federal investigators? Maybe Blake thought she was still on a movie set playing a secret agent, but reality hit hard when the judge shut it all down. Judge Lyman made it crystal clear, that won't work in my court. He struck down Lively's excessive demands, firmly putting an end to what many saw as a blatant abuse of legal power.
Lively obtained all of these text messages through subpoena. Okay, what's subpoena? You can only issue a subpoena if you have an open legal case. So you have to have a valid legal case. I can't just issue a subpoena to, the New York...
Let's call a spade a spade. Even if Blake Lively's allegations against Justin Baldoni were true, which, according to reports, they weren't, the supposed smear campaigns only began around August 2024. Given that, the logical request would have been for Baldoni and his PR team's phone records starting from August 2024, or at most, the beginning of 2024, until the present. Instead, Lively demanded 2.5 years' worth of records, which was completely unreasonable and had no basis in her claims.
In Blake Lively's case, just slapped down their psychopathic request for 2.5 years worth of every message that Justin Baldoni and Justin Heath and the PR agents have ever sent to everybody, plus location data. We knew that was...
It's like suing someone for defamation in 2024 and then demanding to know what medical conditions they had or what conversations they had with their dietitian in 2023. It simply does not make sense. Blake Lively's legal strategy wasn't just flawed, it was outright disappointing. Even Judge Lyman saw right through the nonsense and told Lively's team that their subpoena was overly intrusive and irrelevant to her case. In legal terms, that was basically the judge saying, wrap this rubbish up. Rather than requesting specific, relevant evidence to support her claims, Lively went all out, essentially demanding a full-scale government surveillance program on Justin Baldoni for the past 2.5 years.
We're not able to hold a logical thought, but guess what? I, as a judge, I am able to hold a logical thought, so we're going to slap that down. You obviously cannot...
And things only went downhill from there. Remember the live audio feed set to air this Thursday? That's right. Blake Lively is about to be exposed for the entire world to hear. People will finally see just how delusional and unreasonable she has been throughout this case. But the real kicker? Her dramatic courtroom meltdown. Reports say that during the proceedings, Lively was visibly tense, whispering furiously to her lawyers. And, get this, she was even shaking as she realized her ridiculous subpoena request was about to be denied. Witnesses say she looked completely shocked and in disbelief when Judge Lyman shut her down. Well, it served her right. From the very beginning, this entire case has been built on manipulation and deception. And now, it's all crumbling down.
You can't just issue a subpoena to, the New York Times.
Yikes. With such an embarrassing courtroom defeat, you'd think Lively and her team would finally take the L and move on, right? Nope. Instead, they tried to spin their loss into a win using the media. Lively attempted to manipulate the public into believing that what happened in court didn't actually happen the way people saw it. She tried to rewrite reality, painting herself as a mastermind who planned it all along. Talk about delusion. How egotistical do you have to be to refuse to accept defeat and move forward? Lively is clearly clinging to her big, inflated ego, rather than facing the consequences of her actions.
We weren't the first to do this. It was Blake Lively, it was Ryan Reynolds, this was their strategy, and now they kind of want to put the genie back in the bottle. But guess what? The genie does not want to go back in the bottle. The genie likes to be free.
And just when you think it couldn't get any worse for Blake, the judge flipped the script on her, using her own words against her. Judge Lyman pointed out how Lively had contradicted herself so badly in her legal filings that her requests made absolutely no sense from a legal standpoint. You'd think that in this moment of humiliation, her biggest supporter, Hollywood heartthrob and husband Ryan Reynolds, would be right by her side, right? Wrong. Ryan Reynolds has completely disappeared from the picture. No witty remarks, no public support, just radio silence. Blake's once devoted husband and biggest cheerleader has suddenly turned into Casper the Friendly Ghost, ghosting not only the public but seemingly his own wife as well.
It just blows my mind how dumb Blake Lively's team is and how just, I guess, egocentric, maniacal that she thinks that she can tell the world, you didn't see what you actually saw with your eyes.
So what happened to almighty Ryan, the superhero husband? Maybe he's too busy playing Deadpool elsewhere and simply forgot his wife was being roasted in court. At the end of the day, Ryan left Blake to face the consequences of her actions alone. And honestly, who can blame him? If I were in his shoes, I'd probably do the exact same thing.
In filing, we can now see that Ryan was panicked in general.
It's even worse that Blake's team couldn't put their legal minds to good use or at least know when to stop fooling around after the huge disaster at the court. They just couldn't retreat with theirs. And what is left of Blake's dignity? Instead, they proceeded to file more subpoenas upon subpoenas. How foolish of them. Honestly, I wouldn't be proud to parade this team of legal crackheads around as the attorneys in charge of my lawsuits. Heck, even Lively, the greatest of all clowns, must be embarrassed by them. Her attorneys kept flinging applications in various subpoenas at the court, hoping that if they flung some more ridiculous applications, one might be granted in the end. But boy, did the court show them that he is the wrong guy for all their charades.
I mean, is it not a little hypocritical? Is this a bad look of her if she's trying to tell the courts that we should stop talking about this?
Blake Lively has learned her lesson the hard way, and it's a lesson she won't forget anytime soon. Don't let your ego get bigger than your common sense. Don't hire dimwits for lawyers. Hollywood power plays don't work in a courtroom, especially not in Judge Lyman's courtroom. She likely thought she could intimidate her way into getting a favorable ruling, but Judge Lyman shut her down completely. Now, there's nowhere left to run. After this public courtroom disaster, the world sees right through her BS. The legal system isn't going to stand by and let her continue these power trips and manipulations. And to make matters worse, her reputation is sinking fast, and she's dragging her husband, Ryan Reynolds, down with her.
Blake says she's so glad they did, but now she wants all other footage to not come forward. And we're supposed to be like, yeah, you go, girl.